Welcome to the traffic portion of this webinar. Today we are going to talk about your traffic problems in the context of 3 different scenarios. So the first scenario is you are getting a lot of traffic to a specific page or to your entire ecosystem, but it's not converting. The second scenario is going to be you're not getting a lot of traffic, but you're receiving high conversions on a specific portion of your ecosystem. And the last is going to be you're not getting a lot of traffic and you're not seeing a lot of conversions. So we're going to talk about what to do in each of those scenarios. So first, I want to talk about the first. Eric, say somebody is getting a lot of traffic to maybe it's like a landing page, or it could even be a good amount of open rates on an email. So we're getting a lot of opens, we're getting a lot of traffic, but the content that is on that page is not converting. Tell me a little bit more about that.
I think you're trying to dig into some of my past bad experiences because we had this before, right? So you had these sites where they're getting a lot of traffic and the CEO is excited and everybody's like, oh, but then when you go and look at it, it's like all B2C traffic and it doesn't matter. Like no one cares. Like that piece of content is literally hurting your business because people think that Google doesn't know what you do because the content that's pulling you over is a problem. So lots of traffic isn't always a good thing. It kind of reminds me of the, people who show up when a store first opens. Everybody's everybody's going to come to the store.
Balloons.
Yeah. Nobody's going to buy, but everybody's going to come to the store, right? Yeah. So more traffic is not always better traffic. And I get super annoyed by people who are like, oh, well, how much traffic are we getting to our homepage? Because in my opinion, that is a failure. If I'm coming to your homepage, that means I don't know where I'm going. I'm not being deep linked into something that's really important to me. So in my opinion, if that's what you're asking for, traffic, lots of traffic and no conversion is a bad thing.
So say I'm having that issue. What do I do with the traffic that I'm currently getting, and how do I move it more towards getting the traffic that I want that's ultimately going to convert and then eventually turn into a customer?
Well, and I'd love to hear what Jackie's going to say, but what we've been hearing recently, which has been a really crazy thing, is you got to get rid of stuff.
Yeah, kill some of your content. Some of it might be old. Some of it might not be relevant anymore. We've been doing that with a lot of our stuff recently. It's just sometimes that content is an index. Google only indexes so many pages, right, on your site. So if you've built up over time a ton of content, get rid of all the stuff that hasn't performed or the stuff that might not be relevant or that's outdated. It's time to do a purge every now and then.
Yeah, and that's such an important point. We were working with a client who had 700 blog posts. 700.
Yep.
Of those 700, about 70 of them accounted for 95% of their traffic. The rest of it had less than 10 clicks in a year. So there's always in a relationship, there's typically a hoarder and a person who likes to throw things away. I'm the person who likes to throw things away.
It's time to throw away some of your content.
But if we throw these things away, all my traffic is going to be dead, Jackie and Eric. What do I do?
But it's not about all the traffic.
Yeah,
it's
about the quality of your traffic. And we had one company that was they had a blog post, I think, that was getting a ton of traffic, but it was something that had nothing to do with what they do.
Yes.
And it was like, you're getting all kinds of the wrong traffic. You need to get rid of this blog. Well, yeah, but it's helping us get numbers, but it's not the right traffic. Right. And the minute we get rid of it, yes, you're going to get less traffic. But if it's more of the right people, that's what you want.
Well, and as you think about AI, right? So we're on this AI renaissance, whatever. If AI is looking at what people are doing and they go to a site and you're getting all this traffic and it's around a consumer topic, then the AI is like, that must be a consumer brand. And it's not. It's a business-to-business brand. What they were putting up there meant nothing.
And once you remove that content too, and you are getting the right traffic, even though it's less, you'll be able to learn more about your audience faster so that you can build that traffic up again. But not only that, I'd be more concerned about what are the conversions rates of that traffic? Is my audience converting? Are they interested in learning more and continuing this relationship? Because that's what it is. These are relational brands. Are they interested in continuing this relationship with me by continuing to return to my site, or click on a thing, or reach out to me, or engage with my brand in
or share what they
way.
found with someone else, right? That's a really powerful thing.
And you could be getting a lot of the right traffic, but if you're not seeing any conversions too, then you got to start looking at your user experience on your website, right? You got to what's happening once they get there. And I think you and Chris were talking about heat maps the other day, and so you can see where people are going when they get to that landing page or when they get to that home page, and to see where they're leaking out, right? Where are you losing them?
Yeah, the concept in the business to consumer world is you're fishing in the ocean, and you're fishing for a lot of people, whatever. In the B2B world, what truly is your addressable market? Like, how many people would ultimately buy your product that fits behind the API of another product, that blah, 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 blah. Like, if you're getting thousands and thousands and thousands of people visiting every day because of a piece of content, those are people, there's addressable and those people who are actually interested in purchasing at that point. That's a narrow number. You're fishing in a pond. So are you getting pond traffic or are you getting ocean traffic? And if you're getting ocean traffic as a business-to-business company, it's probably not good traffic.
Yeah. This is where you'd rather be the big fish in the small pond, right?
Yes.
Than the small fish in the big ocean.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
That's right. So let's move on to the next scenario where maybe I have a landing page and the conversion on it is beautiful. If I could just get more people to come to it, what would you say to those brands?
Well, my opinion is they probably outstripped their organic reach at that point. So I'm loving this. I didn't even know these questions. I mean, this is great. So so I would think they've outstripped their organic reach, and we would need to do something to get beyond their current ecosystem. So if they've got a certain number of followers and they can't get it above that, they don't have their team engaging with the content and pulling more people into that ecosystem. This is where some of those metrics around, like, how much is your social engagement growing? Like, how many followers? And there is a point, guess what? All the social media platforms and the Googles and the whatever of the world want to make money. And so for them to drive additional traffic to you at a certain point, you're going to have to pay them something.
Yep.
And so coming up with, and what's great is you're telling me I've got a landing page that's converting. Like, I already got messaging that's working, right? So I just need to take that messaging and make it smaller, do some A/B split testing, things like that. But that's a time when you got to put paid in place. And we know with working with business to business companies, paid is like a foreign concept to them. They just don't get it. They've never done it. They don't understand it. So getting them to do it, and then also knowing that it's not going to be like a B2C conversion, because conversion in the B2B land could be you downloaded a white paper, right? It's not that you bought my product.
Right.
Yeah.
So really defining that in a good way. So that would be my answer. What's your answer, Jackie?
Yeah, same. I think there's definitely needs to be some paid to get people out there more. If you're getting the right traffic, if you're converting, now we just need to get in front of more people. And so I wouldn't just look at the paid, from a content perspective. I'm also going to look at, well, maybe I'm on the wrong channel, right? If we're doing some paid right now and we're still not getting the traffic, then maybe we're in the wrong place, I remember one account, we had somebody who was doing some Facebook ads and they weren't really yielding a lot of conversion. And I thought to myself, this is really the wrong platform for this person. Like, this person really needs to be on is a B2B kind of a platform, but he needs to be on LinkedIn because that's where his audience is. And so it was a matter of the wrong channel. And so
that could also be whether it's paid or unpaid. You might just be fishing in the wrong pond and you happen to get a couple of guppies, right? So
I have one more thing though, like on that. So thinking about the other thing you could do, which is a longer play, is you could do an earned media. So you could get some of your thought leaders out there talking about it. That's going to get you to new audiences, which is really kind of growing your organic, but in an interesting way. So putting them on podcasts, getting them to speak, getting yourself out there.
Finding interesting ways to connect with your audience.
Yeah, because what you've done is you're inside this bubble and you can't get out. You got to get outside that bubble. You got to pay for it. You got to get access somehow.
To get creative.
Yeah, apply for awards. Awards are a great way to get people to recognize you in a different way. And it could also be about splitting the audience. So you could increase your conversion if you're trying to talk to two. So like we've got a client that has an in the air and underground product. And so we split it between the two. Like we could have tried to talk to just that audience on one page and still gotten good conversion. But by talking about where these people work, we have a way to potentially target them more easily because of the way people are searching or looking for information.
And that's really interesting too, because while your audience may feel the same, they're not all going to find you in the same way. So it'll be important that you're talking to them. It's important that you have data and that you're able to look at and decipher what all of that means, because you could put together a product-specific landing page, a problem-specific landing page, an audience-specific landing page, and it could all speak to the same person, but depending on where I am in the the awareness category, one of those may speak to me over the other.
Yeah, that having multiple versions of things and being able to pull it across that way is such an important part of this. It's relatively repetitive. You're kind of, we're going to talk about it this way here and this way here. It's a slight twist, but you're driving that person and answering their question. It's me in the Home Depot when they're like, what are you looking for? And I'm like, a thing that plugs to the bottom of it. And they're like, okay, go to aisle 7, pick that up off the shelf and go home.
And sometimes, like me being like I don't even own a home, so sometimes I just have a problem and I'm coming to Home Depot and I'm like, I have this issue. I know I could probably fix it, but like, what's something that you would recommend to me? Like, those are two different people coming into Home Depot.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
And I think that we were talking about people who are getting the traffic but not getting, the conversion earlier. Like, if you're retargeting the people who have seen your paid campaigns, right, you're going back and you're retargeting them with things at the next stage of awareness, right, so that you're trying to move them down those stages. If you're losing them somewhere along that line, right, you're noticing that people are like being retargeted and they're going from this level to this level, but then I'm losing them somewhere here when I'm going maybe from the 3rd level to the 4th level. Now I know my message, that's where my issue is.
And that science behind marketing is my favorite, because it's like there's no like with the beginning in branding, there's like, should it be green or should it be blue? And I'm like, I really don't know. But this, where you can actually test and see like our message works up until this point, and you can actually see like, okay, this is who it was written for and this is where it's falling off. Then you can start writing different messages. You could even start A/B testing different messages and just seeing what might work with the audience.
That's actually why we're seated this way, because I'm like a gut guy. Like, I like how it sounds. It looks good. Da, da, da. Jackie's kind of hybrid between the two.
Yes.
And Jackie, and then and Vanessa's all about, show me the numbers.
Numbers don't lie.
Right. And I'm like, the numbers could lie. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So third scenario.
So then we have the last scenario, which is
no traffic and no conversion.
I created a thing. I'm not getting any traffic.
at all.
I'm not getting any conversion. Should I just kill that?
Well, it probably means that you may have a branding and awareness issue, because that is like that's the first. So you may be on this webinar and need to listen to the other two segments.
You may need to back up.
Yeah,
You need to
back
back
up a
up,
little bit. So that could be one of the problems. Another problem could be that you're using language that's not language your customer cares about. So people like to create their own, like, we're going to call it the widget. And you're like, nobody knows what a widget is. Like, what
No
is
one's
a widget
searching for it.
Yeah. And one of my favorite examples that have come out of our work is looking at the keywords that people are searching for and seeing things people are coming to your site for, and then you don't have any content to support it. So then they're like, oh, well, that's not the place for me. And so they go somewhere else. And that's we've created a couple of landing pages and content pieces off of that for some of our customers, where it's like, people are looking for this on your site. You don't have any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably, in this scenario, there's a good chance that you had this great idea. Your founder woke up one day, was like, this is a great idea, let's do this. And you put all of this work into it and you did it, and then nobody wanted it because nobody asked for it.
Yeah.
Right. So talking with your customers, whether that's face to face or seeing what they're doing, like you say, like, what are they searching for? Where are they traditionally coming from? Where have they come from in the past? Yeah. Like, in looking at that data, you can see that your audience is asking you for different types of content pieces. They're just not asking it in a question.
Well, and supporting different learning styles. So there's, people who read, there are people who listen, there's video, like all those learning styles have to be supported with the content. Hopefully in an entrepreneurial world, the entrepreneur has sold something and now he's trying to figure out how to replicate that digitally.
Yeah.
But you have to get out of like, well, what are the words you're using? They may not be the words that people who are searching for the thing we need are using, right?
Yep.
And then my last thing that I see all the time that is in this category is we've built a great brand. We have a great awareness campaign in place. We've told them what content needs to be done, yada, yada, yada. And then perfection gets in the way of progress. So we can't get the content out because somebody thinks this word is better than this word, and no one cares what that word is. Like, just put the blog up at this point.
You can A/B test it.
Right.
Make them go head to head.
Or we get killed by, decision by committee, where it's like the reason it's
marketing
not just
by committee is the worst marketing.
Yeah.
And no one can decide, so we can get the content out, or,
Yeah.
Or we take the core out of the piece of like what this is originally intended to do. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Well, and it gets washed out, right? Because I talked in the branding segment about visual reaction. So I really want whatever you're doing to make me feel something, like make me hate it, make me agree, make me disagree, whatever. If you write ho-hum, and especially in the world we're moving into right now, if you write ho-hum everybody else's content, whatever, don't care.
Yep.
Doesn't stand out. Not going to help you.
You need to get noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot of people want to sound like somebody else's brand because they admire them or because that brand is doing really well. And that is not necessarily what you want to do, because you're just going to sound like them, and you really need to stand out. So you really need to know who you are. So that's going back to that branding and awareness piece, and really having that down so that you can then get the traffic, and part of that awareness we were talking about is that paid campaign to get in front of people, right? On the channels that they're using. Yeah. And then once you get that, starting to see where, that traffic coming in, and looking at that whole entire ecosystem, right? So we talked about the ecosystem before. It's not just, the paid traffic and your, SEO and your content, but like, what does your whole ecosystem look like? So if I'm not getting the traffic, how many followers do I have? How many followers do my employees have? Are my employees promoting us? Like, what does the health of everything look like? Because all of it's contributing to getting you traffic.
Right. One other crazy situation too that I've seen in this category of the no traffic, no conversions is I've done branding and awareness really well, but I'm speaking to the wrong audience.
Yeah.
So I have
not knowing who my audience is.
I have a fan club, not an audience. Right?
I have a hobby.
Everyone's cheering me on and wants me to do well, but I'm not creating a product or a service or a solution that is actually addressing my audience's needs. So you may find that there is an audience out there and you just haven't spoken to that audience directly, or that you need to go back to the drawing board.
Right, and thinking about it along the continuum, because I am admittedly an educator, so I like to stand on stages and talk to people about things and teach and teach and teach, but I don't necessarily I don't know how to ask for the sell at the end. And that is, as you move across this continuum, as you get to traffic and conversion, you need to be asking for the sale.
Right.
Like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do next?
Yep.
Because branding and awareness is the fun, like, hey, pay attention to me, part of it. But when we get into traffic and conversion, you should be asking for the sale.
Yes.
Right.
Clear CTAs. This is what the next step is. This is what you can do next. Yeah.
Yep. So in the awareness category, that awareness piece is really built over time. We talk about creating content that lasts years beyond its, launch date. In the traffic portion, I would say that time is,
Accelerant.
You have to accelerate it. You need to A/B test. You need to test fast, throw ads behind it, see what's working, get rid of what's not working, or optimize what's not working, and test things really quickly. Don't launch a thing and, just expect that over time. Like, if you don't change anything, that something will change. Like, I think that's one of the definitions of insanity.
It is. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So my recommendation here is to just try things. Don't let, don't let perfection slow down your progress. Test things. You may find, you built a quiz one night because you were bored and you put it up and everybody loved the quiz versus the webinar that you put together. Right. Yeah. So try different things, learn more about your audience, and continue to evolve and optimize.
Yep. And so with that, we've been talking to you today about the fact that all of you that are listening to this want conversion. We know that. Every time I talk to anybody, they're like, we need more conversion, which means you want more sales because your CEO or CRO, someone's telling you, I need marketing to bring me more sales. In order to get to conversion, you have to address the first three letters: branding, awareness, and traffic. As you've gone across this, you've found that there's lots of different components and pieces to that. And we here at Liger are in the game of figuring out what part needs to be addressed to get you down that conversion path. We have lots of tools and tricks and tips in our, that we
experiences.
Experiences, things that we've done that have worked and not worked. So we'd be glad to chat with any of you. So you can reach out to us over LinkedIn. You can find all of us there. Mm-hmm. And you can also sign up for our email distribution. We have newsletters that are targeted at specific industries to talk about how they address this, because it is different from industry to industry within B2B as well. So thanks so much for listening into the webinar, and we hope to hear from you soon.